great it is to have not just women candidates, but young women in office. And how about Nicole Galloway today, huh? Yeah. We're running for Congress in the 7th District, which is down in the Springfield area, against Billy Long, another person we can't say anything about, is a young woman, Genevieve Williams, and she is impressive. She is a journalism student at Missouri State. She's from Neosho, and she heads up the county committee down there in Newton County. She is a small business owner, has a disaster communications program that's being used internationally. She's written a book that's being used in master's programs, and she's in her 20s. So, I am really pleased to have her out there fighting the good fight for us. Please come on up, Genevieve.
Thank you so much. As she said, I'm Genevieve Williams, and I'm running for U.S. Congress in Missouri's 7th Congressional District.
Go girl!
Yes. The 7th Congressional District is the most conservative of the 8 congressional districts in Missouri. My district is responsible for sending some of the worst offenders to D.C. and Jefferson City, and we are ashamed of it. So there are many of us, one of whom is in the room today, Krista Stark, who worked tirelessly to quit being so embarrassing as a district, and we're trying to change that. I'd like to talk a little bit about being a woman in politics. I think most of us have a pretty good handle on what that feels like in this room. But when I filed originally for Congress last year in 2014, I received 3 calls that I will never forget. The first of the 3 came right after the 5 o'clock news when my announcement had been made. It was probably not even over, it was maybe in the sports. I don't know, I never watched the sports, sorry guys. Anyway, she said, "You can't do that. Politics is a man's game. Politics are for men." So, this was a dear friend of mine who was in her 80s, so of course I was much more polite than I really felt like being. But I was so deeply disappointed. This woman had lived through so many changes and had known what it had been like to be a woman in a time that I can't even imagine. And it made me realize that we had not come nearly as far as I thought. And so I started my campaign. This was the first day I got this call. And I ended up getting several of these. And the other 2 that I really remember vividly was these are all women, about 3 women, called me and said, "Oh, Genevieve, what a fine way to meet a husband." I'll tell you, it hasn't happened. But I'm open to it. No, it was horrifying to me to hear something like that. Basically I was getting my MRS degree with politics, and it hurt me. It hurt me not for myself, but for all of us. And the last one is sort of my personal favorite, and it was the only one that I felt comfortable enough actually saying things that I can't repeat on this stage right now. But they asked me, "What about starting a family? Won't that get in the way?" And so I think that's where the husband comes in. But in all seriousness, I don't want any woman to ever hear something like that again.
Thank you.
There are currently 20 women in the U.S. Senate and 84 in the House. Why are we largely absent from the halls of power? Because we don't run. We don't see ourselves as leaders because we don't see ourselves in our leaders. We are half as likely to seek elected office on our own than our male counterparts. We need to be asked. We need to be invited. We need to be encouraged. Women do not just take it upon themselves usually and file for office. We do it very differently than men seem to. And there are a lot of reasons for that, and I'm not a sociologist or a scientist, but go ahead and listen. If we don't encourage young people, young women specifically, to get involved in politics, this is never going to change. I'm going to be the 80-year-old calling someone, saying something wildly offensive without realizing it. When I was a child, people used to ask me, because I've always been really involved and fascinated with the political arena and everything that it entails, wouldn't you like to be the first woman president? Well, I was no less witty than I am now, and answered, hopefully, by then, by 2024, which is when I'll be 35 or the closest, that'll be done. And it looks like it may be happening.